Hey everybody, JCB here at the Awesomist, and you're watching the Awesomist Reviews. So today I'm going to be talking about the Carnival Imagination Cruise. Now, I've actually been on this cruise twice, and both times in this past year. The first time was this past February when we went with my brother-in-law, his wife, and her mother for a birthday celebration. Now, I actually recorded that entire trip as well, and I had like a whole episode written up, and I was about 60% done with the video when my computer crashed and I lost everything on my hard drive. So when we were asked to go again, I felt like this is one of those rare second chances in life. And before anybody asks, no, I'm not rich, and I can't really afford to do this kind of stuff all the time, but this is also a great opportunity to give a shout out as well as a heartfelt thank you to my friends the Decaneys and the Petersons. You see, this cruise was the wedding/honeymoon of our friends Curtis and Michelle. The happy couple, as well as our friends Steve and Tracy, really wanted us to go with them on the full-blown 5-day cruise. But we knew we couldn't really afford it. And I mean, we really couldn't afford it. But our friends wanted us to be a part of this so badly that they actually surprised us by teaming up and buying us our ticket. And we didn't really ask them to. You see, the people at Carnival allow you to attend the wedding and the reception and then get off the boat before they set sail for the actual cruise, and that was what we had planned to do. So when our friends surprised us with these free tickets, we were blown away at their generosity and kindness. So after staying up packing until 4 a.m. the night before, we woke up early and boarded the Carnival Imagination. We had a quick lunch at the Horizon Bar and Grill, which is the main buffet restaurant on the ship, where we regrouped with our friends, and before long it was showtime. The Petersons had a beautiful and fun wedding, with an even more fun reception, which I would show more of, but I don't know how much of their wedding they want on the internet. And then it was time to cruise. Well, for everybody but us. You see, on that first night there's a big welcome party and all kinds of fun activities and things to do, but we slept through all that.
This is day 2 of our cruise. Yesterday was the wedding, and then we had some drinks. Not our wedding. And then we had some drinks, and then we went back to the room, and then we had our safety meeting, and then we passed out until like 7 o'clock this morning. 5 o'clock for her. Then everyone gets some breakfast.
The Carnival Imagination is an older cruise ship, from the mid-90s to be specific, but is still really well taken care of and has a lot to offer. The main deck outside features 2 good-sized swimming pools, 2 hot tubs, a beanbag toss game, a giant version of Jenga, giant chess, a 9-hole miniature golf course, ping pong tables, and a small water park. But I'll get to all that in good time.
We're about to disembark to Catalina Island.
Day 2 is my favorite day of the cruise because that's the day they stop at Catalina Island. Sadly, we wouldn't be attending the infamous Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer!
Disembarking to Catalina is a fun and interesting experience. They can't dock right at the shore, so smaller boats come out to the cruise ship and offload the passengers before ferrying them to the island and the city of Avalon. Avalon and really all of Catalina is really beautiful, and I definitely recommend you go if you ever get the chance to do so. Just make sure you bring some money for shopping, because that's probably the most popular activity to do on the island. Last time we went in February, we rented a golf cart and drove all over the island. It was a lot of fun. This is actually a pretty reasonable way to get around the island. There aren't a lot of cars there, but there are a lot of paths for golf carts and golf carts to rent. Now, when I went in February, we actually rented the golf cart and the price was about $60 an hour. And since there were 6 of us in our group, we basically just all chipped in $10. This is a really quick way to see a lot of the island. On this trip, we wanted to learn a little bit more about the island itself, so we took the behind-the-scenes tour of the casino theater, which was a lot of fun. The casino theater itself is absolutely amazing, with near-perfect acoustics that allow you to hear even a pin drop. It was one of the first theaters designed to be used with both silent films and the so-called talkies, and still features the original organ that would have been played during silent movies. The whole room is a work of art, and I mean that literally. A huge mural is all over the walls and the ceiling, and the entire room can be lit so that it looks like you're actually outdoors with the stars. Before we left, I snuck a peek of that original organ they still have. Behind the scenes, they showed us the evolution of projectors they've used over the years. But the most amazing stop on the tour is the Grand Ballroom, which is actually floating, suspended in the air above the other floors. The theater hosts fancy New Year's Eve parties, where attendants like to dress in period-appropriate attire. Stepping into this ballroom is like taking a step back in time, and the view from the circular balcony is absolutely gorgeous. Our tickets to the casino tour also gave us free admission to the Catalina Museum, which just so happened to be having an exhibit on Betty Page. I would have made one sexy chick. The museum also features a ton of history on Catalina Island and the city of Avalon. Everything from the Chicago Cubs spring training grounds to the early days of Marilyn Monroe. And of course, who doesn't love Betty Page? This exhibit features some rarer photos from the Bunny Yeager photo sessions. This is a must-see exhibit for any die-hard Betty Page fans out there. The other goal we had was to buy me a big floppy stupid-looking hat. And I think you'd have to agree, mission accomplished. Fun fact, I sunburned really easily and actually got a really bad case of sunburn the day before we left town while doing some yard work, so I was particularly sensitive to the sun on this trip. The cabins on the ship are pretty decent. The ship is basically a giant floating hotel. For those of you worried about seasickness or are susceptible to motion sickness in general, it's not really a big deal on the cruise because the ship is so big, it takes quite a bit to get it moving. However, I do recommend you bring some Dramamine because that will help in those weird situations where you start feeling a little nauseous. I also recommend getting the patch that goes behind your ear and lasts for about 72 hours, or at least it's supposed to. I didn't put mine on until the morning of Catalina Island, but by the 48-hour mark, it was starting to wear off and I did start to feel a little nauseous. So make sure you bring your Dramamine because it will save you.
So we are on night 2. We had Catalina earlier today, and we are off the coast of California heading towards Ensenada, Mexico, and we're gonna play some mini golf.
The night of Catalina Island, we decided to play some mini golf, which is a lot of fun. However, it is tough to resist the urge to long drive the balls into the ocean, although anyone who's seen that episode of Seinfeld knows why that's a bad idea.
So I reached my hand in, felt around, and pulled out the obstruction. All in one, huh?
There are all kinds of breathtaking views aboard, and no shortage of things to do. On day 3 of the cruise, the ship actually stops in Ensenada, Mexico. Now, we went on this tour last time in February. We actually got off the boat and went into town and saw all the little shops and the military guys standing on the corner with the M16s and all the little kids trying to sell you chicles.
You're the chiclet, not me.
I have to say, that's an experience I probably won't ever bother with again. The whole place is just selling a bunch of crap that you don't need, and I don't care how inexpensive it is, I don't really want it. Plus, it's very stressful to be constantly pestered by people trying to separate you from your money, and a lot of the place is dangerous or dirty or just plain depressing. I would not recommend it. Thankfully, right there at the dock, there is sort of a mini-mall version of the exact same thing, though on a much smaller scale. It's slightly more expensive, but much less crowded or stressful. Last time we went, my stepdaughter wanted one of those custom-made bracelets where they put your name on it and everything, but we didn't really have any cash with us, and it was going to take about a half hour for it to be made, and we didn't really want to be there that long, let alone go back later and try to find the one guy we paid in a sea of people all selling the same kind of bracelet. Needless to say, we didn't get her one. So this time around, we promised to buy her one, figuring we can get it made in that little mini-mall type place. And sure enough, we did. Spending a half an hour in this market wasn't a big deal, but it doesn't take long before you've looked at everything there is for sale. So within an hour, we were ready to get back on the boat. Don't get me wrong, apparently there are a lot of fun places to go in Ensenada. Apparently there's tons of places you can go to get completely fucked up beyond all recognition, and that is apparently part of the appeal of going to Ensenada in the first place. But not for me. Being compromised in a foreign land that I don't know, to the point where I'm almost passing out, in a place where there's people literally standing on the corner with M16s, and people are constantly trying to separate you from your money. Meanwhile, you only have a very short duration of time before you have to get back on the boat. Doesn't sound like a fun or good, smart thing to do.
I got my big stupid floppy hat and my waterproof GoPro case that I'm testing.
I almost forgot, the night of Catalina was also the night I tested my $10 waterproof GoPro case. If you want to see my review of that product, you can click here and be taken to that video, or follow the link in the description below. So after some brief swimming and a disappointingly cold hot tub, I decided to try out the ship's water slide with my new GoPro waterproof case. There are 2 other water slides on the ship, but they're mostly designed for little children. The only one worth your time as an adult is the one located on the uppermost deck, right by the big whale tail on the boat. One final note on this little GoPro case is the fact that it really muffles the audio quite a bit, and I did expect a little muffling as there's not really a microphone port anywhere on this thing for obvious reasons, but I wasn't expecting it to be so muffled. In the video footage you've seen here in which I've been forced to use the audio from the camera, you'll notice it probably sounds a little weird, and that's because I'm trying to EQ out some of that muffle, but it's really hard to do so in a way that sounds at all pleasant. Anyway, back to the cruise. I do want to say that the people who clean the rooms and do the room service and all that are fantastic. At the end of most days, they leave a little towel creature on the bed in your room, which we hid and collected so that we could put them all together at the end of the cruise. On the final day of the cruise, you spend the entire day at sea. And this is the one day that I actually started to feel a little seasick, and the day my patch seemed to wear off. I don't know if they lay anchor off the coast of Baja, but for some reason you really start to feel the waves, and that was the day that I really felt sick. In fact, I spent the entire day in bed sick and sunburned from swimming the day before, and also somehow I caught a cold. I just realized I haven't really talked about the food. There are a few ways to eat on the ship. Obviously there's room service, which is great, and then there's also the Guy Fieri's burger place, which is right next to the outdoor buffet. If you're a burrito eater and your burrito meter is getting low, you can get a burrito made right there at the burrito bar. Inside the Horizons bar, there's a big buffet, plus a place where you can get pizza 24/7, a place that makes sandwiches for you right there on the spot, a dessert bar, an ice cream dispenser, just about anything you could ask for is all right there, and it's all included in the price of your cruise. What's not included is alcohol or soft drinks, which you can either buy a la carte or by purchasing a package that allows you so many alcoholic drinks per day, or unlimited sodas if you get the unlimited bubbles pass. Now they do allow each guest to bring an unopened 12-pack of soda with them on the cruise, which is a great way to save some money, so long as you don't mind going all the way back to your hotel room every time you want a soft drink. Now in addition to that, the cruise does offer lemonade, tea, and coffee, and it basically any time of day at the buffet. And then there is also the Pride Dining Room, where you can go and sit down and have a nice, formal, more fancy dinner, and that's also included in the price of your cruise. On the last night of the cruise, the crew actually sings a goodbye song to the guests during dinner, and then busts out dancing to Gangnam Style. It's pretty entertaining. So now I'm going to give you kind of a quick tour of the boat, and you're going to notice right away that some of the decor is very 90s looking, and that's when the boat was built. So my one complaint would be that they probably should go through and refurbish some of the stuff so it doesn't quite feel so dated. Though as someone who grew up in the 90s, I do kind of appreciate the aesthetic, as it feels kind of like a time capsule boat. We'll begin where you first board the ship and enter the Grand Atrium. The glass elevator will immediately catch your eye, as well as the bar in the center of the room, complete with a small stage for individual performers. To the left you have the customer service desk, and to the right you have the shore excursions desk, where you can book special activities for the days you're not on the boat. Down this hall is the art gallery, where paintings and photographs are for auction. This is the 7th deck of the boat, and I believe it's right about dead center. Below this floor is all of the cabins and the area where you go ashore, while the floors above this contain both cabins and other activities. On the 8th deck is the Pride Dining Room, as well as a library where they hold special events like dinner with the captain or chefs, as well as wine and liqueur tastings. Just beyond the Pride Dining Room is what I like to call the piano bar, because it has this circular piano bar. There is also Circle C, which is like a hangout for teenagers.
This is the Dream Bar, El Dorado Casino, and Grand Spectrum.
The El Dorado Casino is an onboard casino with just about everything you'd expect from a Las Vegas casino, including slot machines, blackjack tables, just about any way you could think of to lose all your money. There's even claw machines full of cash. Cherry on Top is an onboard candy shop that specializes in cherry-flavored candies and chocolates. There is all sorts of live entertainment available on the ship. Also aboard the ship is a duty-free gift shop, as well as an entire store dedicated to jewelry. There are of course tons of opportunities to get your photo taken, and even an entire photo gallery on the 9th floor. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Alchemy Bar Comedy Club, which is a nice quiet place to have a drink if you're an adult, or check out a comedy show. Although the decor is a little strange. It doesn't take long to get used to the layout of the ship, and the glass elevators make it easy to go from one floor to the next and see what's on each floor. Located on Deck 9 is the Pixels Photo Gallery. Throughout the entire cruise, people will offer to take your photo. These photos then end up on the Pixels Photo Gallery wall, where you can buy them and take them home, Or if you're horrified by the way they turned out, you can actually shred them. I suppose you could also be a total dick and shred other people's photos, but that'd be pretty mean. Located right by the Pixels photo gallery is the arcade, where you can try to win all sorts of prizes, from stuffed animals to iPads and GoPros and laptops, or you can just enjoy a game of Star Wars, or this amazing Pac-Man air hockey table that I highly recommend. I won't ruin the surprise for you, but it's a lot of fun. There are also nightly stage shows located within the Grand Auditorium. I should mention that both the Hasbro Game Show and the Love and Mirror Show are awesome, and you should go watch those if you're on this cruise. They bring people up out of the audience to get on stage and participate, so it can get pretty interesting and pretty funny. Deck 10 is where you go if you want to go outside on the deck of the ship where the pool and everything is located. Deck 11 contains Camp Ocean, where kids can do kid stuff? I don't know what they actually do in there. I think they make stuffed dolphins or something. It's also the easiest way to get to the upper deck outside. There is a lot of seating on the boat, and the deck is generally pretty mellow except for the day at sea where everyone is kind of trapped on the boat. That's when it gets busy. Deck 11 is also where you can find the spa and gym. The gym is open to everyone and is included in the price of your ticket, but the spa treatments are extra. Going up to Deck 12, you'll find only cabins and a door that leads to the mini golf course. On the last night, we decided to gather all of the towel animals the room service staff had made for us over the course of our cruise for a group photo. All in all, we had a great time. I do recommend you bring some friends if you go on this cruise, as it would be possible to run out of things to do if you don't have people to hang out with and talk with in between fun activities. Anyway, let's get to the grades. The food gets a solid B+, though the prices for additional things like soft drinks gets a D. Catalina Island and the city of Avalon get an A+. It's definitely the highlight of the cruise and a fun destination anyone can enjoy. Ensenada gets a D-. Fuck that place. The ship itself gets an A. There is a lot to do, and even though some of it is extra, if you prepare for it the way you would a trip to Las Vegas, you will have a blast. I hear the more modern boats have bigger and better attractions, but the Imagination is still a great ship. The crew gets an A+. Always happy, friendly, and helpful, they immediately make you feel right at home. The onstage entertainment gets a B. The Hasbro Game Show and the Love and Mirror Show are pretty good, but as for the Diva Show and that rock show thing, they're just not for me. I'm not trying to be harsh, the entertainers are talented and everything, it's just not my cup of tea. Overall, we had a blast on our cruise and couldn't be happier with the time we spent with our generous and amazing friends. I'm so honored to have been included in this experience and to have the chance to witness my friends get married and then spend the rest of the week with them as we all enjoyed this amazing cruise. So that's my travel vlog / review of the Carnival Imagination Cruise. Are you going on this cruise sometime in the near future? Do you have any questions or anything? If so, let me know down below and I will do my best to answer them as best I can. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out some of my other content as I release new videos every week. So until next time, keep being awesome. Plug has this little green light which is on all the time, even when it's not attached to the phone, and it's pretty goddamn bright. You can tape over it, but it just seems like a useless, unnecessary thing to include. I could almost film my videos using nothing but this light. Jeez, that's bright.